Hey everyone, welcome to another Haze Reverb video, and today we're going to talk about the Season 1 units that we got in the previous collab for Chain Soldier, and just a couple of the relevant things within the maintenance notice, right? So we got the maintenance notice for tomorrow, and of course the Chain Soldier collab is coming out. We have some information here, but I will probably talk about like a lot of this tomorrow when we get the skill kits for the new units. But just a couple of things to point out for this video is that you will get one of the original units for free, right? So you just have to complete like basically the missions here, and you'll get either Himari, Shushu, Nei, or Tenka for free. Then if you're missing the other ones, then of course you just have to pull for them, and that's what we're going to cover today on which ones you want to pull for in terms of usability, right? Now, if you only care about collecting your waifus, you do you. You don't need my advice on that, right? If you want the unit for the looks, you like the unit for its design, then like there's no stopping you, right? Just do that, right? You do what you want to do for that. But if you want to the information about like meta game usage, then this is the video for you. All right, so let's move to the bottom here because we have confirmation that the original units will come back as banner units, right? Additionally, Alba here is obtainable through the story for free, so you don't have to worry about pulling for her. But the other units, which is like Kyoka and then all the SSR units, will all be banners. So this is going to be a lot of banners, including the new units. And obviously, for those who were here for the previous collab, probably no worries with you guys. You'll probably have the resources to go for the other units. But for those who maybe missed the original collab, you'll have a lot of catching up to do, and maybe you have to be selective with your resources and just pick the ones that are meta. And that's what we are going to go into now. So let's go into the game and talk about the ones that I would recommend, and we'll give a bit of a summary of each of the units as well. The first of Alba, we did get her skill ups for free last time. Unsure whether we're going to get the same thing this time. Generally speaking, when they give out units for free like this, a second time, they usually don't give you the skill ups. So I have a feeling that they probably won't do it. But there's a chance. We'll have to wait for the side event to come out to see whether it is like included in the shop and the achievements. Otherwise, you just get the one copy for free, and then if you were to want to use her, then you would have to spend your own golden books. Now, if that is the case and you don't get the skill ups for Alba, then I would recommend just not skilling her up, because at the moment, I don't think she has any use whatsoever, and in terms of metagame, not good in PvP, not good in PvE. So she's just been sitting here and not doing anything, right? For me personally, maybe that will change in the future, but just wait until the metagame changes. Whether she has maybe someone discovers a usage for her, then you can upgrade her then. But yeah, for the time being, not worth any gold book investment. Then I want to talk about Kyoka next, because she's the Transcendent unit. I assume there's going to be another Transcendent unit, and I would wait to see what that Transcendent unit is in terms of skill kit before you decide on spending your hard-earned Transcendent resources on that, or if you want to spend money on the Transcendent tickets, because obviously the Transcendent units are going to be much more expensive than the usual units. And Kyoka is pretty underwhelming. I think she has minimal use in, well, maybe like a very niche use for crusade raids, because she does do damage over time, which ramps up. But for EN meta, that's not really suitable, because we're basically just using burst teams on crusade raids to kill the boss as fast as possible. Because the bosses don't have that much HP, so it's just more beneficial to kill it in about 2 or 3 turns, sometimes even 1 turn. And Kyoka doesn't really fit into those sort of team types, right? Additionally, being a Transcendent unit, if you want like a DPS unit that's Transcendent to have its maximum potential, it pretty much will probably want to be rank 10, and that's going to be, as I said, quite expensive. In terms of tickets, right? Because Transcendent tickets cost more than usual. So I would just maybe get one copy for your collection if you like Kyoka. Apart from that, I would skip trying to skill her up, right? And yeah, that is Kyoka there. Then the 2 units I would suggest you to pull, depending on what area of the game you enjoy. The first one will be Shushu because she is currently one of the meta units for PvP, right? Pretty much an auto include in almost every team. She's an auto taunter with high res, and she also does a debuff, minus 20% armor debuff, which is pretty good. Obviously, the only tank that has this sort of utility, and yeah, she's just very powerful. Even in PvE, this 20% armor reduction can work in crusade raid. Now, not all the time, but sometimes, occasionally, the boss will not be immune to this. And then you could use that as like basically the only tank that actually improves your overkill damage by reducing armor, assuming the boss has any armor at all. Obviously, if the boss has no armor, then this doesn't do anything. But if they do have a little bit of armor, which usually these days, like a lot of bosses will have hybrid damage reductions, like maybe they'll be primarily a dodge boss, but they'll have some armor on them as well, and that will this will help you against those sort of bosses. This is obviously going to be a case-by-case basis because every boss is going to be different. But for both PvE and both PvP and PvE players, you'll probably want to get Shushu. It's probably the most useful out of the original units. Then the second best unit would be Nei. So Nei doesn't really have that much use in PvP, but I guess she could be used as a damage buffer. But she is primarily used in PvE for crusade raid bosses, and she's one of the best, if not the best, support boosting units, right? Or damage boosting units that is a support type, right? So she'll buff crit damage, crit chance, everything. She has like an EX that triggers when 2 units have died on your side, and that will boost your crit damage even more. And additionally, she also reduces the damage reduction from dodging, which is not always relevant, but it can be relevant on some bosses, but that might just have maximum mobility, but not quite like max damage reduction. I think there was a boss recently, maybe a few months ago, that was the case. They were primarily an armor boss, but they did have randomly 100% mobility as well. But despite that, it wasn't actually a dodge boss; it was more an armor boss, and you basically just had to play it assuming that it was going to dodge. But Nei, in that case, was able to reduce the damage reduction portion because the boss didn't have a natural 100% damage reduction, and that will help you reduce that and help you overkill better, right? So Nei, in summary, is obviously just insane for crusade raid bosses. Then the next most useful unit would be Tenka, but she's very niche, right? So Tenka is a mobility tank, but she doesn't have like taunt. So she's basically just like you basically place her as a roadblock, which is fine in places like Moon Abyss, which is the one area that she will excel in, and she will have max damage reduction from dodging and also max mobility quite easily. But you do have to skill her up to achieve that, right? So keep in mind, like if you're going to use her for that, you will have to invest some books into her. But that's what her primary use is. She is a dodge tank, and you basically just place her on tiles that the enemy will hit, and basically stop it from hitting your units like armor units that will die to the anti-armor units on the opposing side. So I did use her on the basically my level 99 clear video for Moon Abyss. That was like maybe 2 iterations ago, or maybe 3, something like that, of Moon Abyss. And I used it there just to block off units that have anti-armor that will kill things like my Mo or who was his armor? I can't remember if I used Jack Sui, but basically any of my armor tanks that I would use Tenka to block, basically like put in position there to stop them from hitting the other ones. And then I will obviously there'll be some units that will have anti-dodge, which she obviously can't tank, which is obviously then you'll swap it with the armor tanks to block those off, right? Now for PvP, technically you could use her as a T-Starry bait because she does have the max damage reduction here, right? Again, you do have to skill her up to achieve this, but you can get maximum dodge damage reduction here. But unfortunately, the downside to her is that she doesn't provide anything else in the fight. She doesn't even taunt or anything like that, right? And her damage is pretty abysmal, unfortunately. I was hoping that her damage would be decent, but it just didn't seem to really do much damage when I was like trying her out. So yeah, unfortunately, very niche use, but usable, and maybe like me, you like her because of her design. She was actually my favorite character from season 1. I haven't watched season 2 yet, so I don't know who my favorite character for season 2 is yet. But I really enjoyed, or I liked her character design and personality, etc. from season 1. Then lastly, we have Himari. Now I left her to last because unfortunately, the only real use for her is being your profile picture. So if you like her looks, right, her design, I wouldn't blame you. She has a pretty nice design. Then this is about as good as it gets, unfortunately. She doesn't really have any use in PvP or PvE. I haven't seen anyone use her before. I tried her a little bit at base rank, and she just didn't really do anything. No damage, can't tank. No idea what she's meant to do. And I didn't. Obviously, me being like lacking gold books to invest into units. Obviously, I haven't skilled her up, so I couldn't test her at higher ranks. But seeing as no one's really used her anywhere, I doubt she's really useful at all. But this will be the unit that if you're lacking crystals and you need to pull for the newer units, maybe there's like a meta unit that comes out for season 2, then probably go for that and skip Himari if you have to, right? If you have to make that choice of like, I don't have enough resources to pull everyone, I have to cut someone out. Himari is the first one to do that. That you have to cut. You should cut, and then probably Tenka next, right? Most not necessarily useless, but like least useful, right? Obviously, they are not that she's useless at all, but it's just that she's not as good as Nei and Shushu. Both of those are pretty strong units, right? So that pretty much covers all the units for last season, or the previous collab. So hopefully that is helpful, helping you to decide what you want to pull. Now, obviously, there's going to be, I think there's going to be 4 new units, possibly. I didn't check how many. I believe it's 4. So we'll talk about those skill kits when they come out, and we can see them in game. And then I'll give you my thoughts on that when that happens. But I want to give you an overview of the old ones in case you want to go for those. So anyway, that is it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.